We big stepping on highly capable. Let's go. We big stepping. What it do? Welcome back. Highly capable. Yes. So I hope you're all feeling a little bit better about the Giants situation. They have a plan. They're waiting out these big contracts. They're developing their minor league system. They're giving themselves cap space to make moves. Maybe not the big splashy one you're hoping for. However, there will be moves made. You just have to wait and see. Wait and see what this team does until they give you reason to doubt them. Wait and see what the Warriors do until they give you reason to doubt them. Because right now, they've given you zero reason to doubt anything about the Warriors, this ownership group, everything about this team. You've got zero reason to doubt anything that they've done. Let's rewind back 12 years. 12 magical, glorious years as a Golden State Warrior fan. 2010, Joe Lacob, Peter Guber by the Golden State Warriors. $425 million. That's a lot of money, right? Especially in 2010. Some would say even maybe overpaid for what was a basement franchise in the NBA. Basement. And that's coming from a lifelong Warriors fan. Like, this franchise was not good. And that's putting it very, very kindly. Not good for a lot of years. So new blood comes in, invigorates the fan base. You know, they fan base, we had a lot to be excited about, we believe. And then, you know, but that was the lone bright spot in 20 seasons. So a little re-energizing of the fan base. You know, Dub Nation starts to wake up, right? But then what happens? They trade Monte Ellis. Yeah, very controversial at the time. Monte Ellis was a fan favorite. He was the only player in NBA history to average, what was it? I think it was 22 points and not make an all-star team. You know, that the Warriors fans were so just neglected that to get an all-star was a huge deal. How do I know? Because we didn't get an all-star and we still considered it a huge deal. Like, that's where we came from. And that's not that long ago. 12 years ago. This new ownership group comes in and, like, takes us from the ashes. But they trade Monte Ellis. Very, very unpopular. Why? Because of just how popular Monte was. But let's not look through rose-colored glasses. It's not like Monte Ellis was the model player. Monte Ellis did some dumb stuff. Moped Monte. You remember that? Moped Monte? He was out on vacation and freaking broke his ankle on a moped? Like that, I mean, are we as Dub Nation fans gonna really rest our franchise on those shoulders? Now, bless Monte. Love Monte. He left every bit of his soul on the Oracle court. He played 150% every time he was on the floor. Love Monte. This is not a slight against Moped Monte. But I'm bringing that trade up because the Warriors get in return Andrew Bogut, which was huge. But at the time, he was injured. Fast forward just a little bit to 2011. The Chris Mullin jersey retirement. Well documented. I say all the time I was there. And I was excited for the halftime show. I know I've said it on this air 100 times. I'm going to say it again. I repeat stories a lot. Sue me. So I'm there. excited to see, one of my favorite players growing up. It was my Aunt Kimmy introduced me to Chris Mullin, showed me who he was. So I'm excited. I'm there with my homie Shay. Shout out to my brother. And, the booing starts as soon as Lacob comes on the court to start the ceremony during halftime. And I thought it, maybe last just just a real quick boo. Okay, let out your frustrations, because this was the first opportunity that Warriors fans had to kind of address the situation. Right? Joe Lacob, new owner, we didn't really know him, we were still in the dating phase. We hadn't, maybe we weren't in a committed relationship yet, even though when you buy a team, it's not like it's going to be just for a year or two and you're gone. So I thought maybe it was just, 15, 20 seconds of booing. That would have been sufficient in my eyes. Okay, Warriors fans, get your frustration out. Me, I love Monte. I sucked to see him go. But I also saw Steph Curry coming up. And I'm not going to say I saw a future in Steph Curry. Never. I'm not going to say that. But I liked him. I liked what he brought. He just seemed, just kind of like a shifty, 3-point shooting sniper. I saw how great of a shooter he was early on, because he would just come in and just nail shot. Bah, bah, bah. In those days, it reminded me of a little Anthony Morrow-ish. But Morrow was more of a two-guard, off-guard, and Curry was more of a point shooter. And so, I like Anthony Morrow because, he'd spot up in the corner, and I'm not going to say he was automatic, but when he put it up, you kind of thought it was going in. And I kind of had that same feeling for Curry. But the booing didn't stop after 15, 20 seconds. The booing was relentless and loud. And I looked at Shay. Shay wasn't booing either. I was like, man, forget this. I walked up to the concourse and watched the rest of the ceremony on the monitor. That is me, I think. If you ever ask anything, you want to get to know Stephen Babb. You want to get to know him as a person, as a fan, just a character nugget to learn. Just a little jewel to drop. I would rather watch it on a TV screen than be a part of something I didn't believe in. As excited as I was to see the jersey in the rafters, the ceremony of it all, the pomp and circumstance, Rick Barry was in the house, Tim Hardaway was there, Mitch Richmond was there. Run TMC back together, right? These are great memories of my childhood watching this team, right? So excited. But I would rather watch it from the concourse on a TV screen. I could have just been at home and probably enjoyed the ceremony more. Now, I got to tell Joe Lacob this story. I've told this story a bunch of times. Sue me. But I got to tell Joe Lacob, he was on 95.7 The Game on an old afternoon show. Shout out Bonte Hill. My guy Greg Papa. Love Papa. Love you too, Bonte. But had the opportunity to call in and actually speak to Joe and tell him that story, that I did not boo, that I did walk to the concourse and I did watch it on TV. And he was shocked. He's like, I believe you're the only person that has ever admitted to not booing me. And I saw no reason to. And I told him, I was like, there was no reason to. You had just come in. Like I said, we're still in the dating phase. We don't know enough about this guy. Now, what have we learned about Joe since then? Phenomenal. Wouldn't trade him for any other owner in the world at all. People out there question him, question Bob Myers, question everything. It's just so weird to me. So, like, Joe Lacob comes in and he delivers. He delivers. And similar to the way the Giants have done business, the Warriors do it in a very similar fashion. As you're drafting these guys, you're developing them. And I honestly, truly, in my heart, believe that they're really trying to run it back with another homegrown team. So when I say run it back, I mean have another 3-4 guys that you fostered through your system to carry your franchise into the future. That's what makes this past season so crazy. The Warriors had 2 down years just because of injury. We see that now. It wasn't because Durant left. It's only because of injury. It's what makes this past 21-22 season so magical. Because now we see that those 2 down seasons were only because of injury. Now, what it did though, those 2 down seasons, those 2 blessings in blessings in disguise. Those 2 blessings in disguise of a down season got us Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, James Wiseman, and allowed us time to develop Jordan Poole, which is another sneaky part, and Andrew Wiggins. Time to fit Andrew Wiggins into the system. If Andrew Wiggins wasn't on this team in 2020, 2021, I don't think we see the 21-22 Wiggins. I don't think we see the same player. Now, when Wiggins was brought on, I said from the jump, he had the ability to be what we see today. He had the ability. But see, again, I also trust and believe in the team system and their philosophy. The way that they do things is unique. And why do I trust it? Because it is proven to win. So, bringing in a guy like Andrew Wiggins, a former number 1 overall pick, everybody knows everything about him by now because it's talked about in nauseam. He has the talent and the ability to thrive in the NBA. He just needs to be in the right situation. Wiggins has been accused of not having passion for the game. He's been accused of this and that, for his personality and for this. But really what it is he's not a leader. He's not, and that's okay, because not everybody is a born leader. Not everybody is an alpha. And there's different types of alphas. Steph Curry is an alpha, but in a very different way than a LeBron James. Right? Not that one is better than the other. I'm just saying it's different. Andrew Wiggins is not that leader in the clubhouse. He's not that guy. But being the number 1 overall pick turned it into an expectation of him being that guy, which isn't fair to him, because he's being molded into something or typecast into something or expected to be something he's just not. And that is not a knock on him in any way, shape, or form. It's just, if that's not who he is, that's not who he is. He can't help it. So in this situation, he doesn't have to be the number 1 like he did in Minnesota, or even the number 1B to Karl Anthony Towns or whoever else is there. But Wiggins is the number 3? That's a scary Andrew Wiggins. And I get into debates all the time, especially with my homie Shay. Love you, brother. Another shout out. He wants 40-point a night Wiggins every night. I don't. Why? Because then you're getting 17 to 20 point Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. And Wiggins isn't that. He's got the ability, but he isn't that guy, so the Warriors aren't going to make him that guy. Right? That's what Minnesota tried to make him into. We don't need that in Golden State. We Dub Nation, not we as I'm a Warrior. The Dubs don't need that. They don't need him to be a 40 point a night guy. They need him to be that third option. Who has the ability when option 1, 2, possibly 3 are struggling to step up and get you 40? Like, how big of a luxury is that? A luxury to have a guy like Wiggins come in and take over a game when the other guys are struggling. Because, as we all know, it's a make or miss league, shooters struggle. They have tough games. And you have your third, fourth option be able to pick you up like that and win you a game. Name me another team in the NBA right now whose fourth option can win them a game. I'll wait. You don't see it. I'm done waiting. You don't see it. But that is who Wiggins is. That is his temperament. He likes being a part of the team. Just because you aren't a leader doesn't make you a less of a teammate, a less valuable asset on a team. It just means you know your role, and your role is being taken advantage of, right? Or it's being, lost for words. Again, thank you for sticking with me through insane toothaches and no sleep. So but they're taking advantage of what he can do in his role. They're making the most out of it. There we go. They're making the most out of his ability and what he gives the team. He's putting the team and Steve Kerr is putting him in a position to be successful. There you go. They're identifying his role, his strengths and his weaknesses, and they put him in the best situation possible. And they win a championship. They don't win it without Wiggins at all. They're not making it to the Western Conference Finals. They may not even make it into the play-in game if they didn't have Andrew Wiggins this year. Because remember, no Klay Thompson till January. No Steph Curry for stretches. Who was helping anchor this team? Andrew Wiggins. Yes, there were others. Jordan Poole, Kevon Looney was phenomenal. But Andrew Wiggins. Why? Because he has that ability to do what you ask of him. And boom. It's as simple as that. It really is as simple as that. He does everything that is asked of him. And when he's needed to step in and pick up the slack for the other guys, he can. So can Jordan Poole. The future is so incredibly bright for this team. And all I'm seeing on Twitter is people wanting to trade it all away for who? Why trade away and put another piece on a championship roster? Yes, they've lost a couple pieces. But you don't think they could replace those pieces? They've already got replacements to all the pieces they've lost. And they're adding a big man. So yes, it really hurts to see GP2 leave. I love GP2. Everything about him, I love. And I loved it from the start. You can go back in when he got cut from that 10-day, like he got a 10-day and wasn't sure if he would be brought back. In that first stretch, I tweeted out, man, this kid looks special to me. Like he fits here. He found a home. Again, system. He bounced around on 7 different teams? I mean, he was on a 10-day contract, about to get cut. Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala, Steph Curry stepped up and said, no, keep this kid. We want him around. But that's huge. They saw what I saw. And what eventually the rest of you caught up to seeing. But he can be replaced. As much as he's loved and revered,